But on that note, we're back with the Drunken News on the Tangent Podcast, episode 102, blah, 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 blah. Brian, I'm cold. Help me. Let's do this. Maestro.
Wow. All right, yeah. I mean...
Everything I just said was accurate.
Yeah, I'm waiting for somebody to start drinking.
Oh, yeah. Well, what the fuck? What do you care?
Where are you going, Brian?
Yeah, like you ever took a sip.
Sake.
Why don't you give it a little taste?
I'm
You
all
remember
set.
what it used to taste like?
I do. I
Hello,
remember.
darkness, my old friend. Just drink it, man. I wish I
Peer
knew
pressure.
some more words.
No,
Peer pressure.
Yeah, go for it. So we have a ton of Nintendo news this week, along with a few other...
I can't wait for the Nintendo news.
got like two stories.
Hype.
Well,
everybody.
It's got 3 stories. So the first one we have is apparently Nintendo's newest iteration of Zelda, The Breath of the Wild. It is impossible to 100% complete this game. So in an interview with the completionist, Anuma, the producer of the game, implies twice that 100% completion is unachievable in the latest iteration of Zelda. The host Gerard Khalil, sure, states that he has to get every little thing in every Zelda game, and he's going to do so with Breath of the Wild. To which Anuma-san flat out replies, "Yeah, that's impossible."
Well, I wonder which particular little things he's saying.
Well, that kind of where this comes into question.
If the world is alive, that'd be interesting.
Well, you can collect like sticks to then use as weapons. So it's like, can you collect every stick in the game, or is it just
or
like?
Is it like?
You know, you
or
collected
certain
every
items that
ruby,
you can,
or
if
you
you
collected every,
Or I wonder if there's
Or-
going to be. You don't think they're doing any choice variations of items, right? Like where one item you select.
Well,
and
there
use as another?
is an alternate ending to the game, so there could be story implications to where if you make a choice in one section of the game,
That's a spoiler. Did not know that.
then you
Well,
can
that
go-
was just maybe.
you could do that.
Sources.
But you can't do. So there's no like 100% getting into achievements or anything like that.
Achievements might be different though. If Nintendo
Well,
doesn't
yeah.
have them anyway, but if say it's like, because PlayStation's platinum trophies would be just collect all the previous trophies to get the platinum.
Yeah,
Whereas
so you don't
not-
necessarily need to 100% complete the game. Like for example, Dishonored 2, you don't need to collect every single coin in the game to get the platinum, because that would be a little ridiculous. But you have to collect like all
there's only,
the
like,
collectible.
certain-
Riddler
speedrunning.
trophies
Yeah.
with like 300. Like I'm not wasting any time, but if you wanted to, you get 100% it.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Moving
Let's
on.
see what that means.
Don't even talk
More
about
more
it.
Breath of the Wild
God.
bird race. Yeah.
Damn it.
Strap in, Gary.
Oh fuck this thing.
So, Breath of the Wild's bird race has been named.
The
and it-
best ever.
Yeah, no, it's just
Already?
named, I guess.
Oh.
In this month's issue of Famitsu magazine, Nintendo has officially confirmed that the bird race that is seen within the trailer of Breath of the Wild is none other than the Rito, which is straight from the Wind Waker.
Of course.
So, for those of you that played Wind Waker, Ritos are on Dragon Roost Island, right? However, the new one doesn't necessarily
Are they like
really look.
chocobos?
No,
No.
What are they?
you can Google it later.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they're just a bird race that is in Wind Waker, and they're not in any other Zelda games. So it makes me think that this is either a prequel or maybe a sequel.
They were in a Skyward Sword?
No,
No.
there's the birds are in it, but they're not real.
Not
Or
the
maybe-
same, right?
They just have contact with that island or something where they live. Who knows? They
Well,
don't
I'm
need to be-
thinking because
Birds
this
work in the
isn't a
place.
flooded Hyrule. You're playing an open Hyrule. So I'm thinking that this could be very similar to like the Wind Waker, just without all the water. So like 100 years later, all the water goes away or whatever, and then you have an unflooded Hyrule. I don't know.
I
Potentially.
don't even know where this game. I know so little about
He
the
had said
timeline of
the
this
place of
game.
the storyline, and it's.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna spoil
Yeah,
it. So.
there's
I mean,
lots of timeline
Is
stuff
there any
in
bird
there.
fighting or
Don't.
just racing?
Yeah, the cuckoos, they fight each other.
You can
But they'll
fight,
fuck
right?
you
You
up.
can bird
later.
fight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Or if like you kill a chicken, then everybody kills
It'll fuck you up.
Yeah,
Stuff like
certainly
that. So that's like chicken fighting in a way.
Yeah, cockfighting.
Yeah, I'm waiting for it. There you go.
That's what he wanted.
Yeah.
Well, I gave it to him.
Thank
I
you,
gave it to
Ryan.
him.
You can't have any nuts.
No
No
nuts,
nuts.
but he enjoys the cockfighting.
Yeah, just the cock, no nuts.
Nintendo's engineers have apparently embraced the Unreal Engine.
Nintendo's engineers?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, interesting, right? So, in an investor QA session,
Just
Miyamoto
discovered
revealed that Nintendo engineers have been learning how to use third-party development tools similar to the Unreal Engine. Also, Nintendo's Shinya Takahashi echoed Miyamoto's sentiment, saying that business wants an environment where a variety of different third-party developers are able to easily develop for compatible software.
So Nintendo wasn't listening to criticism, was it? That sounds too easy.
I mean,
What?
They're gonna actually work it out and get some third party in here?
it seems, I don't want to be, like, I'm
You don't
optimistic.
want to tell yourself that it's gonna happen
because I know that it's not going to.
I feel you.
I think they just want to use the engine.
I think Unreal is
It's unreal.
Yeah. I do think it's interesting just in the sense of we know. I mean, assuming it's the latest that it runs on.
Like I played a couple indie games on PC that were made in Unreal Engine, and those games look better than a lot of AAA games that come out. Like the engine itself is pretty unreal. So we'll just move on.
Oh yeah.
I just think that it's great to know that they're making or they're using third-party tools instead of just sticking to their own shit that hasn't worked for the past.
Oh no, they make really good engines. It's just a lot of. I mean, this is one of the reasons why it takes so long.
No, I just meant the engines themselves are working well on the console.
Oh yeah, I agree.
That's what I'm.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
what I'm more interested in.
Of course.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yep.
That's one of my concerns.
I was
is what made
waiting
it.
for you to
Yeah.
chime in because I need to hear your confirmation.
Yeah, Justin. Also, I know that you'd be really interested in this this patch note for the PlayStation 4 Pro and all the
Yep.
spec stuff, right?
Oh, yeah.
The spec guy.
The spec guy.
Dude,
So
spec ops.
earlier this week, version 4.5 beta firmware for the PlayStation 4 Pro offered an unannounced quote-unquote boost mode.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so this boost mode apparently increases the frame rates for up to 38% for most games that aren't even patched. So you know how previously they were saying if you want a Neo mode or like a PS4 Pro mode, the developers need to go ahead and include that in their game. It looks like they're doing this on unpatched PS4 games now anyways. So it doesn't look like the developers actually have to have this burden on them anymore. It looks like they're just doing it to just normal PlayStation 4 games.
What happens? My question
It's like
is,
Bloodborne.
maybe it doesn't happen, but what happens if, because they're boosting these games, if problems arise from these boosts to the games, who deals with that?
You know,
The
that
developers
sounds like a PS4 problem.
right? I mean,
That sounds like a Sony issue.
It's interesting because the one thing I did see that I haven't seen before, playing Neo on a newer PS4 game is the ability before you start, you pick between 3 different modes that you want to play the game. So you want to play in movie mode, which it goes after graphic quality rather than frame rate, or action mode, which is it goes after the frame rate, or a mixture of the two.
I feel like you want to go action mode.
So I went frame rate.
Oh, an
So
action mode.
The action mode, right?
yeah, so I take the frame rate over better graphics.
Yeah.
All day. So, but the ability that they are now asking what people want for games it's interesting, and I think
feel
they're doing
like-
it because of the PS4 Pro
Yeah.
and these things that they are kind of putting it out there that I know a game like Tomb Raider when it came out for PlayStation it had the same type of options.
Yeah.
So it's interesting what PlayStation is doing with that.
Kind of a very PC thing, though. What you were just describing with the setting thing, because what do you want? Because you could turn that down.
What do you want your
you'd be able
graphical
to,
settings to be at?
Right. Do you want to be at ultra, or do you? Can you
I'm just when I go on a PC game, I'm just
Right, you
graphics,
can. Yes.
ultra,
But you- I mean-
ultra. I don't even look at what it is.
Right.
Just put it as high
Me
as
on
it
my
can
MacBook.
go.
But it's a very, it's a very PC thing to be.
Yeah, I
do
definitely-
you want? It's basically balanced performance, speed.
Yeah.
What do you want?
Exactly, and I envision that with Xbox and the Scorpio,
Did you
when
go
that does come out this year, it's going to be very similar to that. I
hope that it's not. I hope that it's drastically different.
Well, I think that the Xbox Scorpio is going to be pretty much a PC for the most part, and that they're going to really integrate Windows PC gaming with Xbox gaming, and we'll be able to cross
Are
platform.
you just waiting for a Scorpio at this point?
It might be.
Yeah.
I might be.
You don't even need one.
I
You have a 5 times better Scorpio than it will ever be.
But if I want to play with my friends,
Yeah.
my homies.
Well, with the whole Windows game integration shit, can't you still do that?
But I wouldn't play.
Negative.
I wouldn't play a multiplayer game if the other person was using mouse and keyboard.
Although I
wonder if
definitely
there's
saw
a
a few
way.
mouse and keyboards on Overwatch over the weekend.
I'm curious.
They did, and this is kind of a side note just because you brought it up, but Blizzard did put out a statement that they're going after people on console that's using mouse and keyboard now.
And I feel like
And they're trying
that
to push-
also kind of let people know, oh shit, you can do that.
Yeah. So now it brought more attention to it, and now people are saying, well, because PlayStation allows mouse and keyboard in its terms of service to be used for their games, now PlayStation and Blizzard are going back and forth because Blizzard's saying
Take it out of your shit.
it's not fair,
Yeah.
whereas
It's unbalanced,
PlayStation is saying it's in terms of service. So now you're seeing a little power struggle.
Well, I mean, my thought is, they should just be able to detect what you're using and just segment you off
Yeah,
into where you need to be.
but then bears a question: can you really ban people from Overwatch for playing on mouse and keyboard?
No, he wouldn't say
No.
ban.
I'm
He said
saying segment the people
separate.
because they can detect. Oh, you're using mouse and keyboard.
I don't
So
think
just
enough
only
people
allow
are
them to
using mouse and
play.
keyboard.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like a software update could be able to tell. Oh, you're using a mouse and keyboard on your PS4. Let's just have
You'll
you
only
play
be
with.
able- yeah.
You'll only be able to play with other mouse and keyboard on the PS4
Until
and
you
the PC.
use just the
Or unless
controller.
you got, and then if you got a controller, just detect that. Oh, he just has a PS4 controller.
Yeah. Eventually, I think these consoles are going to be hybrids.
Absolutely.
Wait, hold
I
on.
mean, they're already
so
trying
like
to
on
be.
the go, but then also a home console. When you get home?
I think it's going to be more of a home console for your TV and then a home console for your PC.
Okay, gotcha.
So I don't think
Like a hybrid.
like a hybrid of the two, but not on the go.
Okay.
Well, I do agree though that.
Recycling
Well, I mean, I
space.
think this console generation, these are consoles that are actually trying to be PCs.
Yeah.
And I think they fail at it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Every
like as
console
you
is
now
a
know,
PC.
owning a PC, like
Yeah.
they're not really in the same league.
No, I think Xbox is
Because they
closer
don't want.
than
They can't
PlayStation.
charge the money for
I think
it.
Xbox score. Well, yeah, with what
Well,
features? Or
I think features, integration of the UI is very
I
similar,
agree.
using Windows, and just the ability to easily say, okay, these are Windows games, and you can play on PC and Xbox,
Right.
whereas PlayStation doesn't have that system that they would really have to push for. So I think Xbox is closer in that aspect, whereas PlayStation has just been crushing the console market right now.
Right.
That I think Xbox has an opportunity to take an actual step into the future, than whereas PS4 kind of just gave us a little bit better stuff now.
right.
But we'll see.
Yeah, that's actually pretty interesting. I'm
Yeah.
excited to see what Scorpio is.
Yeah, I think we all are.
So, last piece of news that we have this week is Psychonauts 2 has been signed by publisher Starbreeze. So, for those of you that don't know, Double Fine is working on a sequel to the 2005 game Psychonauts, titled
Which was
Psychonauts
fucking sweet, in my opinion.
2. Yep, it's a really, really great game. It's a 3D action platformer.
Yeah, I think
Um,
it was more
yeah.
interesting than the gameplay was like necessarily good. Which the gameplay wasn't bad, but like the story itself and the characters and everything about
Yeah,
that game
so
was like so cool.
It's very psychedelic. You play as a kid who goes to a camp for psychonauts. That's what they're called. They have,
Telepathic powers, basically.
thank you, Justin. And you earn badges by doing certain things, and then those badges allow you to do different powers. So you can shoot a fireball, or
Yeah.
you
so your
can
camp
read somebody's
badges are
mind.
your
Yeah.
upgrades.
Exactly. And so you have the central hub of the camp, but then each individual level is you're jumping into somebody's psyche. So you're
Yeah, so
literally
they're, like,
going into
sleeping,
somebody's
like, open
mind.
door. It's like Inception before Inception was there.
Sure. And you go in,
True.
and then the best part about it is, your psyche can be up a snowy tundra, but mine can be a meat circus. And it's like
A meat circus.
that's literally a level
I
in
remember,
Psychonauts
but
1, yeah.
a meat circus. I forgot about that.
So there's so many different things that you can do with it, and there's a video of it that you can find on doublefine.com. You can go over to YouTube and find it. It's a quick little clip. It's really pretty looking. It looks very similar to the first game, but
how long ago did the first game come out? It was a huge gap.
2005.
So we're gonna have a drastic
I mean,
appearance difference.
Yet it keeps the style the same. though.
Yeah. But still, you're
it's
gonna be able
still-
to notice.
Very much so, very much so.
Be cleaned up.
So it's actually I'm going to talk a little bit of numbers, but Starbreeze is investing $8 million into the project before recuperating 100% of its full revenue. So after they make the initial $8 million back, I think they only get 60% of the sales because they're the publishers. And so then I guess Double Fine is only going to be getting 40% of the sales after the initial $8 million or something like that.
Sweet.
So they took the lower pay cut on that.
Well, yeah, just to get the
game
game
out.
out and published.
Well, that's how publishing works, right? I mean, they
You
make
got it.
most of the money and
Yep.
you make the leftovers.
Nailed it,
Nailed
Justin.
it, Justin.
Can't wait. Sweet.
Oh wait, I lied to you. That's not the last piece of
I
news.
was about to ask.
The last piece of news is a sad piece of news, actually. South Park Fractured Butthole is delayed once again.
Once again, this scares me now.
Why does it scare you?
2 delays.
Do you remember the first game?
Well, which one? Because they've had a lot of games.
No, the Stick of
The
Truth.
N64
Stick of
one?
Truth? Yes.
That's a sick game.
Do you remember how delayed that game was?
No, I don't actually.
That game was, the publisher THQ went under. They're no longer a thing.
Okay.
And then that game was re-picked up by Obsidian and delayed like twice after Obsidian picked it up. That game was delayed for like 2 years,
Oh.
and it was still
Alright, well,
fantastic.
I guess that doesn't worry too much. The only
Don't worry. The moral of the story: don't worry.
yeah, the only thing is that
Be happy.
that they are very meticulous about their shit, so I don't feel like they would release it if it was
They're
bad.
not gonna release a shitty game.
But that's the problem, is that I hope it doesn't get to the point where they just say, you know what, we can't fix it. I just don't want them to.
It doesn't
why
look
they
like
delayed it.
it
Well,
doesn't
they
look like it's
scrapped it.
broken.
I'm just scared, man. I want it to come out so badly that I'm just like,
You just hope that they don't get too innovative with their
yeah, to
gameplay.
fuck themselves up.
And whereas they kind of venture off from what made the last game so great, and making when they try to make sequels and try to add all these different gameplay elements, it can take away from the previous game. And I don't think Trey and Parker, they're gonna really fuck around with it too much. The system works, and they're hilarious, and they're not gonna put out a bad product. So
Yeah, they are
I wouldn't
about
be-
the South Park brand.
I don't think that
Doesn't
the
care.
I don't think you have to worry about the story, the writing, any of that stuff. I think
Gameplay,
the new
yeah.
gameplay that they're adding, they're just adding a grid base to the
Yeah,
RPG
I saw an interview that
element,
they play
so-
a bunch of like Dungeons and Dragons apparently.
Mhm.
I've never played that game, so I'm not sure. They said they play a lot of tabletop stuff, so they're
Yeah,
trying
so
to add that to it.
There's a lot of, with things
I
of
don't
that
play
nature,
that
you
kind of
need
stuff,
to you need to be in close proximity of each other. So similar to a tactical game like
Yeah.
Fire Emblem,
So
or
it's cool. You can also like
Advanced
move a
Wars.
guy behind the box
Yeah.
to take less damage, like so
Or
it's
if you
easy.
have, if your
Yeah, I
attack,
did. Yeah.
if your attack goes far, you can hit everybody in a row. So if you have a spear, you can hit the
Yeah,
person
so I
in
don't
front of
mind
you,
the
but then the
tactical
person
fighting
behind
to
them
it.
as well.
As long as they do it right.
Yeah, you can also then like attack somebody from the right side, and then it knocks them
And they'll
down.
probably add height potentially.
Yeah, well,
They
there's
used to do
from
heights.
what I remember, there's 3 rows that you can like be on. So if you hit somebody on the top row and you hit them down, they're gonna then move to the middle row, and then you can have your middle
Yeah,
character attack that
then
one.
it's over.
As
You
long
got
as
the
you
high ground.
strategize the way that it's supposed to go. But it was delayed into the next fiscal year, which sucks
Fucking bullshit.
because the next fiscal year is April 1st, 2017 to March 31st, 2018. So this game is slated for, at the very latest, March 31st, 2018.
Damn.
Yeah, that is a substantial pushback.
I think it's probably gonna release sometime in September, November.
You can always move it forward. Yeah.
I think that they are smart enough to give a way too big of a window, so it looks like a surprise when it comes out super early.
I also
I think that's a tactic people use.
That's not bad. I also think that they're smart enough to stay away from the October, November, December lineup,
to not
and
get
maybe do
crushed
it
out.
like, hey, here it is. Here's it in January. When then nothing is there.
But I feel like they can still do well.
Because
Well,
their fan base is huge.
their fan base is still going to do it. They're not going to get crushed like, there's not going to be competition like Titanfall and Call of Duty and all that stuff. They're still going to do well, but
Because
I
they'll
think
have
it
their
would
own niche.
make sense to do it in a different time
Because if
frame.
it's a budget thing and you only have a certain amount of money for certain games, you don't want to, every fucking Call of Duty motherfucker's gonna buy that stupid shit, and you're like, damn.
Whatever that was, sure.
Yeah, everybody spends their
And
60
you know
bucks on Call
everyone's
of
gonna
Duty.
be buying the new Call of Duty this year. Boots on the ground.
Boots
my
on the
friend.
ground, dude. It's gonna be so
Back
cool
home.
when you hit left trigger and your lock's dead on the center of the guy, and then you hit right trigger. Oh, So good.
And with that, we're going to take a quick break, come back with our Twitter handles, what we're doing on the site, and all that jazz. Stay tuned.